All right. Welcome to the We3Kingz Podcast. I'm your host, Pharaoh, and my first co host, Black Summer.
Yep. What's up?
My second co host, Mike.
Yes, sir.
And for what's hopefully a permanent time, because we tried this many times, Shrunk Dragonfly.
What up? What up? So today I was hoping that we could discuss the topic on just relationships and breaking that down into, dating wise, interpersonal relationships you have with family, friends, and just the things that you've noticed and picked up over the years on how to not just better yourself, but better in a sense approaching different individuals and how you feel about them and the things that you've seen and personally experienced.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I'll ride with it.
So just to start, let's talk about how just your relationships you've had since school and the ones that you have kept and the ones that you've lost, and how does that affect you in the long run, and what did you learn from them most?
Okay, well, I don't know. I guess I'll start off first. Uh, as far as friendships, I've kept most of them throughout school because there was a period of time where from like kindergarten to like elementary school or middle school, I've had a few friends that like fell out of favor mostly because during those times a lot of parent situations are different, so they might move or whatever, especially in the area where we are because it's a strong military presence, so not a lot of people stay. But as far as when people do stay, the few that I've had, I still pretty much have them to this day. And I don't know how to explain it. It's fine to me. I don't know what type of like precedence is set. Like if I need like if there's any, I don't know, cause like there there's obviously been like arguments or whatever, but it's never been nothing too crazy.
I guess I'll go. So, I moved over here when I was like 9, 10. The fifth grade age. So all of my friendships prior to that, I don't really have because we were young and just kids, being kids, and we we kind of grew up now in an era where social media is a little bit more prominent, so you can keep friendships that you normally wouldn't have. But I pretty much got the same handful of friends that I've had since I was like 9, 10. With Am, Tamel. Then throughout the years, met Mike, Dan, all of them. So I got pretty much the same same male friends that I've had since I was about 9 or 10, and then just integrating people here and there. How's it affect? I would say, and then then the school friends that you have just because you're in the same vicinity, and then people move because life happens. We grow up. Um, how does it affect? Friends fight, and the closer you are, the more likely you are to fight. But if you got the right group around you, they can teach you stuff. And as we're getting older and learning things about ourselves, we're passing information along each other because we about 8 years out of high school. 7, 8 years ago, we won't talk about 401ks or taxes or buying houses or even having kids. I'm the only one with a child right now, but you get the idea. So I think for the most part, having a good group of friends, a lifelong friends. One of my friends just got married, and most of us were a part of the wedding party. But I think it's good when you find your good group of friends to have some, but not to let that same group of friends limit you from growing. Because we have a friend that left. He's still a good friend, but he needed to explore outside of his hometown because it was what was best for him. So for the most part, for me, having this group of friends was good for me.
Man, Steve, I don't know if you remember this, but you remember how we one of the first times we met, bro? I remember it was middle school when you got kicked off the bus. I don't know if you remember that, but it was funny because the bus rider had said something. I don't know if you like was like telling her no or yes or whatever. You said something back to her. I couldn't remember all of it. I just do. I remember that was the first day. Like I was like, bro, this man got kicked off the bus. That's tough.
Bro, I get
I was like, that's wild.
for doing what?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you don't remember that.
No,
You
no,
probably don't remember that because
you got
I didn't really talk to you like that.
you. I know you had a situation on the bus. Wait, you talking about in middle school?
Yeah, man. It was like I think it was seventh grade.
It might have been like 7th, 8th, because you were like John 8 or something like.
Yeah. No, I was at Kennedy sixth grade. Uh, yeah, bro. I still remember that, bro. I was like,
You got better memory.
I,
I don't remember doing anything on the bus. Oh no! If it was middle school, I don't think I got kicked off. I think something happened on the bus, and I was leaving the bus, and I
I
was
remember that,
pissed
bro.
off.
I was like,
Nah, because you would have got off the
this
bus by then.
man is
I don't
wild.
know, bro. I don't
But
know, bro.
like after that, like we had found out, like, me and you started hanging out. It's like a weird way. Like it was like I had just met you. I didn't really know, but I noticed very quickly that you speak your mind a lot very quickly. Like you let people know how you feel about things.
Wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah,
Yeah, tattoo that.
yeah. Like you said, and I like after a while, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just start? Why don't I just start saying that? My life started changing a lot when I started following some of the examples. Like, it's crazy to think like right now, we almost 30. Like I know I don't want to put it all in our heads, but like y'all realize we
Oh, it's
almost
me.
30, bro, as a group right now.
You almost.
Like bro, like
You talking about some weak.
I,
Yeah.
honestly, it's probably not gonna be that bad. Nah, 40. Once we get to 40, then we can be like,
no,
oh
what,
shit.
huh? What was?
But right now we
Can we
good.
stop talking about how old we get?
No, I know that, but like I'm using it to say
Yeah, I know.
like how like it's crazy how things grow. Like I still remember the first time I met you, you getting kicked off the bus, bro. I was like, bro, that is wild. Like, dang. But then
Yeah, my,
like throughout the years, as we like started to become more like boys. Like I still remember that time. I believe it was me, you, and Ray, and what was it? Was it home ec or something like that in
man,
Kingsville
because
High School? Like
I was,
me and you started yelling at each other in the classroom when the bell rung and the teacher got scared. She called the police officers down there because we were
no,
in each other's face. I don't even remember what we were mad.
uh,
I don't
well,
even remember what me and you were going at each other about. I just know we
suicide.
was in each other's face. She called the police down there. I'm talking like we'd have got locked up and wouldn't have been able to graduate over just yelling at each other, bro. This
No,
man Ray, this man Ray will come sneak back into the room with
it was. It's not as serious as as Mike is making the situation out to be. Like, is they didn't call the police. Is that we have police officers in the school already? So it's not like she went called 911. It just me and Mike had stuff going on in our lives, and we kind of just took it on each other because.
I mean, at this point, I feel like people know because police, at least in American schools, they've been there pretty
I
prevalently
mean,
for
just if you see the way,
a while now.
you
They
see the way
all
she read to the phone, you'd have been like, yeah, she did call the police. She
first
was
out here.
scared. She thought me and Steve was about to scrap it there, boy.
No,
We-
but the reality of the situation is that if we wanted to, we would have. We had the space to fight and do all the other stuff. If we wanted to, we would have. But one night, we were just frustrated with however our lives were going on at that time.
I don't even
Yeah,
remember
y'all
what
must
we
have
was
been
upset
having
about.
the Great British Bake Off in there.
All right, bro.
Be like, Mike, you should have put the goddamn pie in the fucking oven.
Now, I'll tell you one thing. Johnson can cook. We're getting sidetracked. But yeah, it was. It's because I remember the class that he's talking about. And I remember the people that was in there.
Bro, I think it was funny because we had looked. I remember we both stopped. Like we was upset, and then we both stopped and looked at the doorway. This man Ray was just sitting there with his phone out. Like he was about to start recording, like he was about to fight or something. That shit
That's
was
how.
funny.
That's high school for you. That's high school for you. Ain't no
I'm
one
so,
stopped. Yeah, they just start recording. Just like, whatever. Ain't no one stopping. Hey,
I mean, sometimes that's what gotta happen. I mean, sometimes it's I mean, not a lot of people will definitely agree, especially now, but I do think it is kind of the healthier alternative that just sometimes you just gotta fight it out. At least with the guys, sometimes you just gotta fight it out, say what you gotta
I
say,
wouldn't
do what you
say
gotta
it's the
do, and then just
healthier
shake hands and move
option.
on from it.
I wouldn't say it's the healthier option.
The safe.
I mean,
It's the safer option. You can live to fight another day versus pulling out guns and all that stuff.
It's the safer option because you can live to fight another day versus pulling out guns and
yeah.
all that other
Okay.
stuff.
Well, safer then.
I mean,
Because
it won't that serious.
talk it out,
I,
but we ain't doing that.
I knew it wasn't nothing serious, cause I'm pretty sure even Steve, like, we don't remember what we was arguing about. I don't remember what we was arguing about either. I don't know if Steve does.
It was over something stupid. It's like something that didn't matter. But like when you're already upset about life, what doesn't matter don't matter because you just irritated.
Yep. I mean, it's crazy though. Like we didn't even like say anything to each other. Like, most people at that point when y'all arguing will like say some wild shit to each other. Normally, but we didn't really say nothing crazy. It was more just like, bro, this some bullshit. No, nigga, this some bullshit. No, fuck that. Like, it didn't make no sense.
Yeah, that's
what we was arguing about.
That's pretty much what happened. But okay. So I have a question. So since we graduated, have y'all made any new friends outside of like our primary group, and how has that relationship impacted you in your adulthood?
I'd say no, because it's like work friends, and those are just acquaintances.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, I feel like at least recently, the people I'm with, since it's such a small group, we probably could be, but I don't know. Maybe it's just still too early, or maybe we're just acquaintances still.
I wouldn't say completely friends. Like, I don't know if they're like, I know they cool with me, but I don't know if they like down for me. Like, a friend is somebody like they might pull up to the crib if something wrong, like something get ready to go down at your house. You know what I'm saying? That's different levels of friends, I would say. Some people you just might just be chill with. Hop on the sticks, play a couple games with them, and then go on about your day. It's different levels to it. I wouldn't say I got that many. Maybe like 2.
I'll say for me personally, I've definitely come across a good number of individuals over the time who've, I've learned to look at stuff from different points of view and just the overall atmosphere and experience that I learned from. Honestly, I learned more from failed relationships with people than the ones I have gained. And it's definitely taught me personally, it's definitely taught me to learn how to better voice my own opinions and feelings towards things and just stick up for myself better versus just being the straight up follower or just yes men. And I've learned to pick up and notice on things when something's working out into my favor or if it's not. So there's definitely been a good amount of growth with the few friendships that I have gained.
Yeah, definitely the case. Sometimes we as humans gotta fail to learn, just in our nature.
Yeah, I think since high school, I've made a couple of in actual friendships. I maybe made 2 or 3, maybe 4. A couple have worked out. That have succeeded. I maybe met some people and we were friends by proximity because we just knew each other because of situations. I had one just fall out because but as Dragonfly said, sometimes it's easier to you have to have failed relationships, whether they're romantic, platonic, or whatever, to find what you're looking for in your relationships, like friends and such. Because I've had some work out, I have some that didn't. I have some more recent friendships that are working out, but I think I maybe made like 2 or 3 friends outside of our friend group that, and not like they're close for sure, but we haven't known each other long enough to establish that friendship that I got with my boys. It might end, but you'll know when you know during that time frame. But I do think it's good to have friends outside of your group because, like Dragonfly said, you get a different take on things that you normally wouldn't have. And one thing I can say that within your personal friend group, I don't want to call it an echo chamber because we all kind of got our own opinions on the different things. But one thing you don't want to happen is you don't want to limit your growth because everyone is kind of doing the same thing. Our friend group, everyone kind of got like different jobs, except for me and Ray. We do the same thing, and Anf, Mike, and everyone kind of y'all
I
kind of
mean,
do the
it's
same
it's
thing.
it's like most of it is the similar like
Yeah,
field. I'm not
yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
workplace.
Yeah. So with having different friends outside of your group, you're exposing yourself to different things that you wouldn't get within your group because I can't give advice to you because our fields aren't the same or you're not looking into a field that I'm not in. That's why I always preach I need to do it myself. That's why I always preach going to events where you have basic similar interests with new people. Like with you, it would be like what Comic Con, I think it is, or whatever it's called.
I mean, just conventions. Just
Yeah, yeah. That's good that you go to those because you're going with the same basic interest of anime. I guess that's what it is. But because you're only exhibiting one simple thing, there's an entire person that might be in a different realm of what you're used to. He might be in IT or something. Who knows? But you get what I'm saying. But when they're our friend group, we already know what everybody does, and we already know kind of. I don't want to say what to expect, but we all kind of know. That's why I think it's good to have people outside of your friend groups. Even if they're not close, they're just people you can get advice from. Just, hey, what do you know about this? What do you know about that? And I think it's also think it's good to talk to the people within your friend group and see what they know. 'Cause I didn't know Dan knew as much about stocks and stuff as he did until I talked to him about it, or Henry or whoever, for the sake of what we're talking about. So you never know what someone knows until you ask them.
Yep.
And let's get to the meat and the potatoes.
So, speaking on that and just what you learned, what are, let's say, pick one relationship that put you through put you through a lot and force you to change and adapt. That
DJ,
was one of your
DJ,
biggest like lessons.
I'm coming out. I'm coming out the gate. The relationship with DJ. I'm not gonna talk down on him because he's his own man, but it definitely taught me how to be vocal and stand on what I stand on. How do I say this? Stand up for myself. I'm not gonna say like he's an abuser or no shit like that. He's very dominant, and I really didn't like he's dominant, and I don't care. So, but with having an I don't care mindset and stuff like that, you can get walked over. You can be overreaching your overreaching your kindness. So with him, it taught me not to extend my hand so far. It taught me not to. Sometimes you have to let people fall on their face so they can get up. If you keep catching everybody, they'll never. They'll always have a safety net. And like what people who walk on tight ropes are a little bit more careful when they know if they slip, they're gonna hit the goddamn floor. So that's kind of how I see it. But it was a platonic. In case y'all get confused.
I want to say for me, it was more of it was kind of the same thing. Mine's would have been basically learning that it was a big step for me, especially after high school, the first few years when making new friendships, and particularly with the opposite sex, was learning that just because
Mm-hmm.
I might have feeling towards someone doesn't mean they feel the same. And I had to accept the fact that a lot of people, well, yeah, a lot of people would probably pick up on that and use that to their advantage. And I found a lot of the time I was
Mm-hmm.
putting a lot of time into doing and spending time with these people versus spending that time with people who actually cared about me. And it was starting to affect me personally in a negative way where it would come off that I was distancing myself. And after realizing that, I started to, be more self aware of how I express myself towards people and expressing it towards the right people.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
Mm-hmm.
definitely a little bit of growth going on there. And now that I actually know these things, which I really think it's important for us to constantly put ourselves outside of our comfort zone because that applies growth. And because of that growth, I'm not in the same position I was before. But with that being said, I've definitely learned a lot from that, and I'm able to, you know, give and put my energy into different positions and spots that I know not only will benefit me, but the people that I choose to keep around me.
It's a good thing you took something positive out of that. I want to save that little segment for a little later though. 'Cause I'm going to use that as an example for something. What about y'all, Mike and Amph? Is there any relationships that touch y'all or anything?
Uh, I want to say that I've had some people who I quote unquote had put in the friend category had went behind my back and had said some things to some of the bosses at my job.
Uh huh.
And it made me feel some type of way about it. So I never really looked at them the same. So it caught it. I came off. I started coming off as cold to them, or Mike don't mess with us no more. He don't fuck with us no more. But I realized like, well, you did it first. Like you burned that bridge first. So I'm gonna let it burn down. And since then, it ain't really been the same.
Are you saying that
Uh,
you thought they were your friends or they betrayed your trust kind of thing? I just want to make sure.
both, both of them.
Okay.
I thought they were friends, and then they betrayed my trust. I felt some type of way about it, and it's been like that ever since. This was before this new job that I've been at for a couple years at though. This was before that. Yeah, it just damn bro, you really did me like that. Oh okay, see how it is, motherfucker.
Yeah, people definitely can be like two faced or say shit in that way. Cause it was never directly towards me. Cause I was usually chilling, but I always noticed that it'd be someone else they say shit about. And I'm pretty sure like if they did it to them, they probably do it to me. You know. But I guess on a lighter note, like I guess I can say that I've learned that even in this digital age, sometimes you still grow apart more than where you were before. Because like we said, people got different lives, they get busy and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't really take away from the friendship. You
Mm-hmm.
can a couple of months or like half a year come back and everything it's like nothing changed. If anything, sometimes those be like the best ones in a sense because you can just you have something to talk about. because
Yeah.
just months of growth.
Heart growth founder, something like that.
Hmm.
Absent makes the heart grow founder,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something
You can
like
say
that.
it like that.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Because I'll say this: like with me and Tamel, we don't talk ever really. I think we've gone maybe like half a year without talking to each other, not like actually communicating. And when I didn't know that if I needed him, I could call him for something, and he's as a godfather. And then digitally, since we're doing the podcast online, like over the thing, is giving us a way to connect and talk to each other and tap into each other's minds. So yeah, for sure, I definitely agree with you in the aspects with that.
Yeah, most definitely. Touching back on what Mike said about work, as far as relationships go, where you have people who have a higher standing in your job and how you approach, speaking your mind instead of just going with whatever they say. Like, how is that relationship going with everybody, and how over time you've just learned to pretty much just stand up for yourself and learn when to just sometimes walk away in the work aspect.
Well, for me, just outside of a job, just in general, it's kind of always been hard for me to do that. To find that line between confidence and cockiness or whatever. But like I was saying before, you never know until you cross it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just trial and error.
What I will. Oh, okay.
I don't aspect I've ever had to do it, but like Am said, with the cockiness and confidence, I think the only thing that separates confidence and cockiness is humbleness. If you feel like you can do wrong, you're being cocky. If you feel like you're great, but you still have room for growth, humbleness. That's confidence. There's nothing wrong with it. But I don't think in the work aspect I really ever had to experience that because I kind of just keep to myself, and people don't really bother me while I'm at work.
I don't believe anybody really knows the difference between them. A lot of people, it's like
I think confidence and cockiness is perception by other people. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, yeah, I can see
yeah.
that. I mean, I'll always say because like when I was younger, I was very like laid back, like reserved. Especially like I would say elementary, middle school. I started to finally like open up more high school, and then after high school, especially
Mm-hmm.
senior year, after senior year, it's not that I don't care what I say to people no more, but I will like especially hanging around with Steve, Dan, Henry, F, Ray. Like
Hold on,
you
man.
hang around them enough, you gonna start to no 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 not
Hey, this shit my fault.
not your fault, but it's more like it broke me out of this because for a while I was a shell. Like I would just be sitting in the classroom and you would just never heard nothing from me really outside of like when they called you up or they called you to read something or stuff like that. But I noticed I started to open up
Mm-hmm.
more. I started to let my thoughts and feelings be known about certain things, and especially started taking off once we got out of high
Mm-hmm.
school.
Shit, it's like I don't even exist in high school. I don't even got a
Um,
senior picture. I skipped senior day. I ain't take the picture.
I don't think I took the picture either, man.
Now my name on the shirt
I'm
though.
about to say, I hope right now. I was trying to go check.
oh Lord.
Now my name on the shirt.
Speaking of, I
Oh,
remember like a lot of people that
oh,
year
it's.
didn't get their name on the shirt.
Because they
I,
won't
I,
graduate.
oh, hey,
They
wait,
weren't
Steve. Do you remember when
graduate at
Henry
that
kept making
time.
that joke to? I don't remember his name. He was making that joke to a couple of like a group of the guys graduated in summer school. I forgot who he was like joking on about. I said, "Damn, here we go do him like that."
I mean, Raquan never graduated. You know that.
I don't care. He's in the picture. He ain't graduate. Not on time anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I don't know how he got dropped.
Mm.
Damn, right.
Must have got the GED or something.
for the longest time, I was like, they never check your high school diploma on your and then come to find out they check it. They say it on your background. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. They just like go off what the background says.
That's it.
You just filling in, just wasting your time with the fucking the shit. The application. In my
But yeah,
opinion.
I mean, I guess it's just a part of the process, man. It's some you gonna break out of the shell at some point, whether you want to get broken out of it, like whether you want to break out of it yourself right now, or you may have people in your life, relationships that will break you out of it without you even having to try. They'll help you crack that shell. That's all I got to say on it about that.
Just when you do it, make sure it's in a healthy way. You're not like losing your mind.
Nah, fuck that. You gotta go. You gotta drink. You gotta smoke. You
Oh my
gotta
lord.
fuck whoever. It don't
I
matter.
mean, you can do that,
As
but
long as you wrap it
Nah,
up.
nah. I mean,
do it
I,
healthy way. If you gonna
I mean, but is that healthy
okay,
though?
look. As long hold on. As long as you're not like drinking and get drunk every night. As long as you're not smoking to like start crack. I don't really know how to explain that one. And as long
I
as
mean, basically, it can get bad if there's no
yeah,
moderation.
like you can do all of that in moderation. That's the only difference between healthy that and a lot of people who kind of go from a shelter life to freedom. Because I know two girls with not the exact same boat, but same situation. The only difference is one could control themselves in moderation. The other one, could, yeah.
You got the other one's number?
You're. Not, let's tell you that now.
Yeah, we got
unless,
chill, bro.
unless yeah, yeah. But speaking of that, let's get into it. Romantic relationships.
Oh God.
Oh lord.
So, me and Tamel kind of talking about it. Well, yesterday or the day before. The culture, uh, relationships, because he had a reason to bring it up. I'm gonna let him explain why. Like, kind of what was the foundation for this podcast episode. So, Dragonfly, take it away.
All right. Thank you. Uh, so I was interested in to know that. All right, yeah. So I was interested in just knowing everybody's opinion on how basically the dating wise has been looking in the past, and especially in our time, where you would just dang. I
Yeah,
had it and I lost.
tell them the story that led up to you as to what brought this up. That might help you.
Which one we talked about?
The one with Hunter and the
Okay, yeah. So, basically, just knowing, like, when it comes to dating, just knowing when to set what you're interested in, and then understanding if you meet those requirements and check those boxes out. Like, I have a buddy of mine who he basically he wanted the type of girl who was, she met a certain height, she was fit, she ate healthy, she was intelligent, and was just interested in stuff that he didn't do, which, I'm sure there's always someone out there who meets those requirements or who you want, but you also have to accept the fact that if you're looking for that type of girl and you don't do any of that, then I won't say it's going to be impossible, but it's a very, very small chance of you succeeding in finding someone like that. Like, he wants someone who goes to the gym, eats healthy, and just read books or into like cars and stuff like that. But then at the same time, if you're someone who spends most of your time outside of work just sitting on a couch and playing video games, it's not impossible, but it's going to be extremely hard for you to find someone who does all that, and at the same time they're interested in someone like you who just does that. So yeah, just understanding that what you want, you also have to put out there if that's what you're looking for, versus constantly trying to chase after the same type of person and it's never working out.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, like of course, like there's a saying, opposites attract, but you know, still has to
That's
be,
within,
like you said, there still has to be
that's within reason.
a push towards it. Push towards something better.
See, okay, I want to use his specific. I want to use his like thing specifically first before I get into it. There's okay. There's nothing wrong with wanting that in a woman or a person. It's just there's well, there's like three. There's two or three aspects of that situation that you have to realize. Is that one, the person that you are is not her type. So you can want that all you want, but you're entitled to your desires, but you're not entitled to their love essentially. Secondly, if you're gonna require that, you have to be what you're asking for. If you don't exercise or go to the gym, if you're not that intelligent, I'm not saying he's stupid or not, but because I'm still generally when people say intelligent, they mean with some type of college degree. A college degree,
I don't mean your intelligence because you got college degree.
yeah,
Yeah, you can
just
just be like book
just
smart and just be like self-aware of what goes on in the world. I mean, that can be like intelligence by itself.
yeah. No, I'm just saying a lot of older people associate intelligence with college degrees, and that's the reason why I say that. But so you want all of this, you have to match what you're looking for though, in some type of capacity. And then my question is, you want a gym goer, someone who reads books. I'm assuming someone who's into cars, someone who eats right. My question is to do all of that. They have no time for you, like at all. Because if they're reading, let's say they write it out. Okay, let's say they work and they're smart and they make money because that's 8 hours a day. That's eight. That's 9 hours a day. 30 minutes of work, 30 minutes back. Just assuming that's 9 hours a day. They read. They have to sleep for 8 hours a day. That's 16 hours. Okay, now they read for an hour. That's 17 hours. They work out. You work out for about an hour. That's what 17 hours. Do you have to shower? That's 18 hours. I'm like, meal prepper could take like 2-3 hours depending on if you're like meal prepper for like the week. So they're already up to like,
Yeah, that's for a day, depending on how many days you do it.
yeah. I'm just saying if you do it for like a week, and that's just for what? Yeah, that's if they meal prep. I'm like, that's a lot of time. That's why men and women will want these extravagant things, not realizing that none of that actually leaves time to build a relationship. Which is, if that's what you want, fine. But understand that when you ask for 10 things, you leave yourself out of the loop to go on dates, to find these relationships and stuff like that. And then if you're not in any of these places, you want her to work out, but you're never in the gym. How you gonna meet her? You want her to be in the cars, but you're not at car meets. How you gonna meet her? You want her to read, but you're never in the library. How you gonna meet her? You want her to eat healthy, but you DoorDash all your food. No disrespect. So how you gonna meet her? Cause you're not at the grocery store. Where are you gonna meet this woman if you're not in any of these places that you want this person to be?
Yeah, 100%.
I can't want a girl in the gym and I'm at McDonald's 24/7.
I don't know why that made me laugh a little bit. I don't know why I left it. That's kind of messed up.
And then we had the like conversation. It's as simple as this: are you your type's type? Does what you like you? Except like, yeah, that's just what that come down to. and everyone's type is a little different. But I hate when people say you're generalizing. Well, you have to, because that's what life is. It's a generalization. It's the law of averages. It's called the law for a reason. If I like anime, playing basketball, working out, and such, I'm not going. And I have a child. I can't meet a girl who's not into anime, is a vegan, likes to travel all the time, because it's just we're not compatible because it doesn't fit on a regular basis. So my question is, so when I ask, does your type are you your type's type? It's not to ask. It's not to say you're not entitled to wanting that type. It's to say that, do you match what you're looking for?
I also think another important thing that we have to accept and understand that as you get older, it changes. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times I've noticed a lot of people have a hard time accepting that maybe that type that you think you want or might be best for you, it's not. And you have to change your views or just simply try something else. Like maybe you want, let's say, staying on topic with what I said earlier, maybe you might want someone who's actually fit and that works out. But then when you actually start dating people like that, it's never working out for you. So maybe you should try to, no pun intended, try to just change it up and maybe find something different. Like you could want a chick who's into like into cars or just into just crafting or building something, and then you start dating individuals like that and it just never works out. Maybe that's not something that you would want to be in a relationship with, and maybe it's just something that you like to do personally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, so you got to learn to adapt and change and play around with it a little bit instead of trying to focus on this one thing, because a lot of us have to also understand that we have a very limited time on this earth. And the number one thing when it comes to relationships in general that I think we can all agree on is nobody wants to waste their time. And it's a lot more beneficial to you to, play around with a little bit, try different avenues, different spots, different groups, different organizations, rather than just focusing on this one particular group and it's never sticking. And then next thing you know, X amount of years or days or weeks or months done went by when it could have been better placed somewhere else that might have actually worked with you. I've seen a lot of friends who they'll constantly try to date this image or this figure of person that they've framed for themselves, and it never works out and years will go by. But it's like, if you try this over here, it would have been better and you wouldn't have wasted your time. Like a lot of them like, man, I probably should have hit that person up a couple years back. We would have definitely worked out, but instead I kept chasing after this person over here. So
But I would say this though. It's kind of like, okay, I want to use sports for this topic. It's Let's use, okay, a perfect example. James Harden. He was a six man on the OKC Thunder, right? He gets traded. He goes to the Rockets, becomes MVP type player. I bring that up to say this. So, say you would have dated that person years ago. Would that person have been the same person with you that they would have been with the person that they're with now? Not to say that you shouldn't have ventured off from from your normality, but I think what sometimes we forget is, as individuals, is that sometimes people are who they are because of who they're with. Sometimes.
They are the what's the word? They're a product of their environment.
Hmm. But I do think that I do agree that what you want changes, because who you wanted at 16 is probably not going to be who you want at 23. Who you want at 23 might not be the same as who you want at 30,
yeah,
because you grow up, and what you want in life changes. Like 18, I didn't like right now. I have a daughter, so what I want in a person is more or less the same. Like, don't be a dickhead, but I have to be more careful and picky about who I'm with, because I have a child. There's another aspect of my life to worry about. If I owned a home, I couldn't date somebody with I don't know, piss poor. It's like I don't know, bad credit. I'm just throwing something out there. So I'm like, that's a
Oh wow.
of, and then like you were saying, say you want a girl who's in the cars and you can go to car shows and it's not working out. My question is it not working out because you're going to car shows, or is it not working out because you're picking certain people out of those car shows? Because there's different people there's a bunch of people that are in the cars that are completely different people, right? So, but
People are multifaceted.
if you're picking the same demon essentially, or the same whatever, and it's not working out, it's not the car show, it's you really. That's why, because people like, I want you Andrew Tate for an example. People like Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, all of them, Sneeko, when they talk about what I like to call a big percentage of a small percentage of people. It just has how I'm explaining it. If there's a certain type of people who hangs out with Sneekos and Fresh and Fits and professional boxers and professional athletes and professional whatever, that's a small percentage of not just the population, there's a small percentage of sex or gender, whatever. There's a small percentage of that. But of that small percentage, there might be a big percentage of the group that are similar. So whenever they're giving advice to these young men, they're giving advice to these young men on a small percent of people that affects the majority of an entire population. Pit bulls are banned in countries because of the actions of a small percentage of them. Men are scrutinized for the small percentage of they are, but we are 7 billion people on Earth. 1% is still like what, like a million people? No, that sounds wrong. But I'm bad with math. So it's still a lot of people. 1% of a 7 billion people is still a lot of fucking people. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to take a step back and look at who you're dating. Not just me, then not just the person we're talking about, myself, you, when young men, young women, older men, older women have to take a step back and like, all these relationships aren't working. What am I doing? It might not even be necessarily you as the individual. You might not have not, but who are you picking? If you're picking emotionally unavailable people, why is that? Look back at your past. See if there's any trauma that you have to deal with. If you're picking abusive people, take a look back at your trauma. If you're picking serial cheaters or whatever, like, you have to realize there's always going to be a pattern in what's going on and who you're dating. You might not have a type, but you have a type. Everyone has a type.
Yeah.
I got no type.
The basic lesson of the day is reflection.
Was this Sesame Street? No, I can't think of, like, is it what, Sesame Street? It was like Mr. Rogers. It's something like that. But it's true though. And not just romantic. Your friendships reflect your how you feel about stuff too. If you have the same friends that are toxic and narcissistic or whatever, just take a step back. It is not. I'm not saying it's easy because it'll never. This coincides with mental health and everything else. It's not simple. It takes work. It's hard. You're gonna fall, obviously. Just you gotta figure it out. And once you figure it out, that's your life starts to get a little better.
Hey, Steve, I wanted to add on to that. What you had just said about friends too. Sometimes you have friends that can influence you in positive ways,
Mm.
and other ones that can influence you in negative ways. Sometimes you might have a group of friends that influence you in a positive way, but you also might have a group of friends that influence you in a negative way. I would say it comes down to you to be able to pick out what you need and what you don't need from their suggestions too. I would say because some friends like they may hold you back in a certain sense. Like I'm not talking about our group so much
Sure.
so like I've seen no
Okay.
no no I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about because I mean recently I was scrolling through YouTube shorts, right. I remember I remember I remember I think it was Steve Harvey, right. he he had talked about how he had certain like friends who, no matter what he said he was gonna do, they were always down on him.
Mm-hmm.
Always like, nah, you can't do that. Nah, they ain't gonna let you do that. Nah, they ain't gonna let you do this. You can't do this. It's impossible. No, you can't do that. And he said for some of them, he said some of them he still cool with, but some of them he said he had to cut out because he just too many times heard him saying that he can't do this or he can't be on TV. He can't do this, this, that, and the third.
Or hit you with the, "Are you sure?"
Are you positive?
Like, you sure that's what you want to do? Are you sure?
Yeah, he talked about that, but then he also talked about the other side
Mm-hmm.
that you may strike out sometimes. He said you might have friends, even with your friends with you all the way, you might, you know, you're saying you might get up into the sky and like Icarus, man, your wings might melt, and you might hit the ground, and you might hit the ground hard.
I think I want
So
to double down on that real quick and say sometimes friendships just run their course. There's nothing wrong with the friendship necessarily, but you grown from it because the friendship no longer serves a purpose to you, and you may feel like you're not serving a purpose to them. Perfect example. I don't want to. Yeah, fuck it. It's not like an insult to him, but it's life. Zach is kind of that friendship that has run its course. If he ever called and said he needed help with something, yeah, we got him. But he's outgrown us for the time being because we can't get him where he needs to be because we're not trying to go where he's trying to go, which not, or we're trying to get to we're trying to go a different path, which is perfectly fine. It's life. Sometimes the path you're on doesn't take your childhood friends with you. Oh, Jesus Christ.
that's a hard line to cut, I would say.
Eh,
Luckily I haven't had to cut it at all yet, but man, that's got to be a hard line to cut. He's like they my boys. They with me, bro. No, I can't do
And
this.
it's not even necessarily that it's not necessarily that there's anything wrong with like the friendship. It's like it's just like I said. Sometimes the friendships run its course because we can't get him where he's trying to go, and that's all it comes down to. Like for example, I'm a welder. I can't teach Inf how to code because that's not what I'm doing. So what he would do is he'll find someone who can show him how to code, or a group, or somebody who can. If that's not what I can provide what I can provide. The best thing for me to do is to say I can't do it. I can't help you because my help would be more detrimental because I don't know. Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just it is what it is sometimes. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's necessary for your growth. But with
Yeah.
that, it's also to say you have to make sure you're serving the friendship because just because the friendship isn't serving you, just because the friendship is serving you doesn't mean you're serving it.
Mhm.
And a good thing you should do is find out where you sit in people's lives. Know who you can talk to and about what. I can't talk to you and F. I love y'all. Real intimate. I love.
What? Hold on. What you mean you
I don't.
can't talk to us?
Oh.
I can't talk to you about some of the same stuff that I can talk to maybe Dan or Ray or whatever about because our experiences are everybody's experiences are a little different. I can't talk
Oh
to
yeah. You right.
Yeah.
because
I see what you're saying.
it's neither. But and then sometimes I can't talk to y'all about situations because y'all aren't a part of it. Like I okay, I can talk to you like okay with my ex. I can probably talk to with everybody in the group. I can probably talk to Anf and like it doesn't hear Anf and Tamel about my ex before I could talk to the Mike because Mike doesn't know anything about what's going on. Anf's kind of just there through because he stayed here and so and then Tamela because we talk every once in a while about like life. But once you know that is you set yourself up. So I can't be like, oh, let me go talk to Mike, and he can't talk to me about it. So now Mike's a bad friend. No, that's not Mike's position. That's not his role. So once you learn your role within your friendship, learn what friends can do, what you can provide. That's how friendships are easier to maintain because people start expecting the wrong stuff out of the wrong people, and they let themselves down when they gave them duties that were not in their job description.
Mm-hmm.
What that little girl from Drake say? That is not my job, and that's what it comes down to sometimes. And you'll never know unless you ask, because sometimes, so if you don't know, I suffer from bipolar, and I didn't find it out until I had a suicide attempt. I didn't know I could talk to some of y'all about certain things because I never asked, and because you feel like you can't, because we're men and there's stuff like that. So you know, I'm man. That's not wrong with me. I'm good. Don't do that.
Hold on. That's my first time hearing about this.
Exactly.
Talk.
That's my point.
I'm what? Hold on, bro.
You get an iPhone, be a bit easier, but whatever.
That's tough. Damn, I'm that far out of the loop, bro.
No,
That's tough.
it's a situation that happened that doesn't we don't really talk about because is I mean, okay, so when Amp was like I bought 2K, it was around that time. It was like the week 2K came, like the week before. But if you want to know about it, we'll talk about it after the stream, but the podcast. But that's why it's good to know who you can talk to about what, so you don't you don't compound your issues to make them worse. Like, oh damn, I can't talk to nobody. No, you're just talking to the wrong people. And if you can't talk to your friends, that's good to know too, because then you need a good news side of friends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think anybody would believe you do got to be careful with what you know. You don't want all your business out there.
Exactly.
I think that's a normal thing. Like you don't want that's some people, man. They want to know everything about you. Like, nah, bro, I'm gonna cut it short right here. As much as you need to know, as much as I need to know, we're gonna keep this little line right here.
And there's nothing wrong with that neither.
Especially
I'm
you get somebody that they talk a lot
I had to learn that.
and like and some of them you'll learn quickly like, oh, how much does this person talk? Let me tell them. Let me get them a little bit of something and see like how far they go with it. Next thing you know, everybody in the building know what you told that one person. And you know what they let you know? Somebody's mouth is too wide open.
And then yeah, and you know who told it because you only told one person.
Yep.
All right,
Shoot, and
so
So
with
yeah,
that, we got like
it's
a minute left. You know,
so
probably should start wrapping it up.
no.
oh
Before we wrap it up, I
oh
wanted to ask this earlier. Just three things. I want to know what everybody looks for in a girl. Just three things. Just to make it a little fun and lighthearted. Go. It don't matter who goes first.
oh shit. Uh oh god.
Okay, I guess I'll go first.
Oh.
Three things.
Yeah, just three. It don't you don't gotta go into detail. You be like tall, short, ugly, something like that. I don't know.
Let's say good sense of humor, creativity, and just goals.
Okay, I guess I'll go. Good conversation, good sense of humor, and aesthetically pleasing to the eye, like to what I consider attractive.
I would say understanding, uh, understanding, independent, and I had my whole three, but I didn't forget. I guess give go
Oh
ahead.
lord.
Nah, I'm joking. That's a fucking that's a peer to peer joke. But yeah,
I'm asleep.
understanding.
Not that
Fuck
one.
it.
Bro, I'm in such a tough one. Hold on, bro. I'm trying to think. I can't think of. Hold on. Uh, hmm.
Ooh, my bad.
Honest,
What?
humble,
Understanding.
and
Understanding. Oh yeah, I
I
got
don't
it.
know.
It was understanding, loving, and independent. That's what it was.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with honest, humble, and understanding. Those be my three. I just those are the three I need, bro.
All right, well,
I'd be alright.
that was a nice little way to wrap it up. Does anyone else have anything else to bring up before we close it out?
No.
No.
Seem like we good. All right, this has been the We3Kingz Podcast. Do all the other stuff that YouTubers tell you to do. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
like Amphy saying.
subscribe,
Yeah,
to
man.
those notifications.
Yep.
And also
Do it for your
reflect
boys,
on yourselves. Reflect on yourselves.
Look in the mirror.
Look at the
Look at the
reflection.
reflection.
And I don't care how
Ask
good it is.
yourself.
Wrap it up. Won't want no
Oh
uh-ohs.
Lord. Uh-oh. Ask yourself if you like what you see.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless you like Nick Cannon, you don't give a fuck.
Ah.
All right, bro. We gotta stop, bro.
All right, y'all. We'll see you later.
All right, y'all stay beautiful now.